Hello everybody and welcome to Motormouth, brought to you by the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. I'm Kendra and this is Dan.
Dan, yep, hi.
And we're here in the beautiful 1938 Reading Diner, of course, which is inside the museum on display. And if you would like to visit us at the museum, we are open 7 days a week, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we're located at 85 South Walnut Street in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. And if you'd like to get in touch with us before you come visit, you can visit our website, www.boyertownmuseum.org, or give us a phone call, 610-367-2090. And of course, if you have anything you'd like to share with us about the show, we'd love to hear that too. And you can call or you can email me, Kendra, at boyertownmuseum.org. We like hearing from the folks at home, don't we?
Yeah, I hear from folks too. Through Kendra, she zips them
Pass
over
it
to
on.
me. Yeah, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, even some negative things, I guess.
Oh, those aren't as interesting.
But no, well, it's
But we
a
get
learning
yes,
experience.
it is.
Yes.
But people have given us show ideas too.
Absolutely.
So I think that's maybe is going to happen a little bit tonight, actually. So coming up here at the museum, we have, of course, Duryea Day, which will be Saturday, September 2nd. That's the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. Of course, that's our very popular car show that we hold over at Boyertown Community Park. This is our 52nd year for Duryea Day, which is pretty amazing.
Do you remember the first one?
Unfortunately, I do not.
No.
I was on a family picnic that day.
Yeah.
You don't remember it either, do you?
No.
No.
I mean, I was around, but not around here.
Not here. It's grown quite a bit since those first couple years. We've seen photos of that, and we get about 600 to 700 cars show up at the park. And of course, if you go to the park, your admission into the park also covers you to come here to the museum and see all the great stuff that we have. We'll have the carriage factory open as well that day. So it's a really neat day, all different kinds of cars. And we only have one more show, I think, before Duryea Day. And of course, we'll be at the park finding
Time's
owners.
Really zipping.
It really is. We better get hopping on that. So, and of course, that show we always cover such a wide variety of cars. So you'll have to join us there again, Saturday, September 2nd at Boyertown Community Park. And that's really what we're all preparing for here mostly. So what have you got for us tonight? I don't think we're going to hang out in here too long, are we?
No, we're not going to hang out in here too long because it concerns one of our vehicles out there.
Out there.
So we will go right now.
All right, let's go check it out. All right, well, Dan, you brought me out to what may be really one of the prettiest cars here, actually.
One of the prettiest
It's
cars.
pretty. It's a pretty car.
I think because you're standing next to it makes it pretty.
Oh. No,
Yeah, okay.
in all seriousness, I think this is one of the most popular cars here.
It's popular because it's unique.
Yes, it is.
You know, it's one of one. Locally made. It's like early design of fiberglass and such. But anyway, folks out there, this is the Misano car. I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what we call it.
That's what we call it.
The Misano car, okay? Misano sounds familiar. That's because it's connected to Tom Misano, who had the car dealerships up in the Reading area. Let me give you some things here about Tom Misano. He passed away about a year and a half ago. Before that, he was the chairman of the Tom Misano Auto Group, which he started with his brothers Bruce in 1947. Okay, they had multiple, let's see, what is this? Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Ford, Lincoln, Mitsubishi, Mazda. There you go, that's a bunch of cars.
There was quite a few.
Okay, might even be other things in there. Anyway, he was kind of, he was a decorated war person. He was fought in World War II. He was a captain in the U.S. Army Air Force, trained with the Royal Air Force. So he earned his wings both with the Royal Air Force and the U.S. Army Air Force.
Oh, I did
Huh?
not know
You
that.
did not know that.
That's pretty cool.
Something to go home and tell your kids.
That's right.
Okay. He flew cargo planes in the China, Burma, Indian Theater. That was the Burma Airlift, flying the hump, all that stuff. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross in 1945. So there. So that's a little bit about Tom Misano. Something else I found out, and it kind of got me excited, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but the Misano dealerships sponsored a AFX dragster back in the 60s, a Mercury Comet. That was really neat. So, but that's just a little bonus there. Anyway, back to Tom Misano and this car. He designed this car himself, this fiberglass body. It's based on a Henry J that was wrecked.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a lightweight car, small wheelbase and stuff compared to most cars. This is 1953. It's based on 53 Henry J. One of the problems with this is the trunk space. It's not that it lacks in trunk space, but to get to it, you have to
accessible.
you have to move the seats in that way. So, you know, I don't know if you
To
could,
like crawl in there.
yeah, I don't know. He was trying to have an idea that might have competed against the big three car companies back then. Apparently it didn't work. Fiberglass cars were just being started, you know, with Corvette was in 53. The Kaiser Darren, I believe, was a little bit before that. So this is kind of a new industry back there, these fiberglass cars. He made this car, then they had to cut the doors and the hood into it. Kind of a nice car, I think, and it's interesting, the three fins in the back there, and you know, fins were just starting to become famous with the jet age and stuff. So he said, for me, it was really sort of a hobby thing. I had some very good people working on it. He said, I don't know at the time, or I didn't know at the time whether my car would lead into it being manufactured in the future, or whether it would just be useful in promoting a little interest in the dealership. Well, he didn't manufacture. I don't know how much interest he had back in the 50s to his dealership, but you know, I've seen things like in the last 10 years, they talk about this car and they talk about his dealerships too. So it's kind of ongoing, I'll say.
Right.
Let's see. Here's the best quote. Here's the coolest quote I found.
The coolest.
Okay. He says, the car was light, didn't dent, rust, and was unaffected by extreme temperatures. It got pretty good gas mileage too, but it wasn't perfect. Nothing is. I remember driving the convertible back from a car show in Philadelphia and stopping at a traffic light in Pottstown. All of a sudden, I was sitting in a downpour. Oh boy, I got wet. This car does not have a roof. And this is the gist of my talk here. And you look at the picture that's on your screen. It's a picture out of a patent that Tom Misano had for an inflatable roof. Okay, there you go.
I like it.
An inflatable roof that would come up on the car. I have a picture here, but it's easier for you to see it on your screen there. You had an air compressor. You had an air tank, like in what should have been the trunk, okay? And there was a knob on the dashboard. You'd pull it or twist it or something, and it would open a valve, and it would inflate this roof. And it was, you know, it would just kind of come out of the back and up here, and you would attach the roof to the top of the windshield with just regular sort of clamps and stuff. And this wasn't the first inflatable roof that was there. About 4 years before, somebody had an inflatable roof that was just pretty much a big balloon. And so because that, you know, you blow up just a regular balloon, just a little round thing, and you know, you really can't control the shape, you know,
right.
The air pushes it out. Well, what Tom Misano had, he had little compartments, and he had almost ribs made out of the roofing material, and that gave it a certain shape, and it didn't balloon out, make it real wide. It kept it kind of trim looking. Now, the thing is, also to keep the shape, you had these elastic things, and I don't know what they would be. I think something like a bungee cord, and that's what you would be attaching here. Now, when it was time to deflate the roof, you undo these, and as the air is going out, these cords would retract the roof in the back here. Okay, you got all that? Okay,
Yeah.
the first one from like 1948, that didn't have any means of deflating. That actually had these big metal springs in it, not real heavy springs, but light duty springs that kind of helped it. It was weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, after that, after Misano came out with his, there was another one, and let me get my paper. Pretty much the same idea of his, and you'll see a picture of the third one there. The roof would kind of inflate the same way, but it was also in two compartments, and that's not even right. It was a series of compartments, okay? So if you could envision compartment A, B, A, B, A, B, all the way across like that, okay? So there were two valves, one for A and one for B. So if there was a failure with one, you would still have an inflated
partial roof.
Correct, and that's how that one was. So it was kind of interesting, and I have to say there's a volunteer here at the museum, Sharon. You better be watching this show. She came up. She approached me a few months ago about Tom Misano having a patent, and I looked it up, and it wasn't this patent. It was something else, but it got me turned on to this thing, and this is interesting because Tom Misano, local boy makes good, and all that, and so thank you, Sharon, for leading me on here, and now as a bonus, you get a bonus patent,
Ooh,
okay?
bonus.
And I showed Kendra this right before the camera started, and she got all excited.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, and again, you'll see it on your screen, and I'll let you look at it. So, but this is from 1958. Somebody patented airbags. And you know, we all are used to airbags in cars now, but they were thinking about them back in the 50s. The guy who came up with it, I don't know who he was associated with or anything. I didn't really read up on it. I saw the patent and I copied the picture, and that's what you're seeing on the screen. But the bags were up in the ceiling of the car. You know, it had a real roof, and they would just inflate downwards. And I'm looking at this. There'd be in front and in back
And on the
of
sides.
the head, and also in your lap. So they
Yeah.
pretty much did
You're
a good
packed
job.
in there.
Yeah, packed in there. Yeah, that's kind of claustrophobic, I think.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I have to say about this car and stuff.
I'm really intrigued by the airbag thing because,
Next month,
okay.
maybe. I'll let you do it.
Oh, it's my turn. I'll do
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Because I don't even remember. At first, I remember them just being in the steering wheel.
Correct.
This one has them.
Yeah, this
All
is
over the place.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So, okay,
pretty
and that's
cool.
what I have. And before I get
All right,
off
I
the
like it.
camera, I have to say hi to Denise, who works where I do, and she watches. So Denise, hi, and hope you do good. So that's
So
it.
Denise and Sharon, you both better be
Denise,
watching.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
You better be. Yep.
Well,
All right.
speaking of fiberglass cars,
Ooh, good segue. I like that.
we got to walk a few feet over there and take a look at our guest car
Mm-hmm.
for this evening.
Okay.
So we'll meet you a few feet over there.
All right.
All right, well, we walked all the way from over there to over here for our guest car this evening, a 1962 Corvette owned by Harry Blankenbiller. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For
Thanks for
coming
having me.
tonight. And this car has an interesting history, but when did you get it?
It'll be 6 years in October.
Okay. But you're only the third owner?
Third owner,
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. So where did it start out then? Back in
It came out of
62?
New Jersey from a dealership to Stout Auto Sales in Reading, Pennsylvania. And a gentleman bought it by the name of Denny Dillaplane, had it 2 years. And then Greg Buckley, who owned it, bought it for a graduation present in 1964.
For himself?
For himself. His father and he went together and bought it for a graduation present. And he owned it 47 years.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. And why did he give it up after 47 years?
Well, for 40-some years, I tried to buy it. And he just would not sell it to anybody. And he always said it was going to go to his daughter. And unfortunately, his daughter passed away. And he couldn't take having the car. And he decided to put it up for sale. And I got wind of it, and I went after it.
Wow. Wow. After 47 years.
Yeah.
So now you said you were after this car pretty much from when he first owned it.
Yes,
So, is you,
that's correct. But he wouldn't sell it.
as soon as he got it, you were jealous, saying, "Boy, I need
Well,
a
the first Corvette I ever drove was a 62.
Okay.
And I was only 19 years old. And I always loved them and never had one. And I've owned a lot of Corvettes and never had a 62. But this one here I had a certain love for, and I went after it.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I was going to say, why this one? Why did you fall in love with this?
Well, I always loved the
A certain
Honduras
one.
maroon color, number one, and I love the fawn beige interior. That combination, there's a lot of fawn beige, a lot of Honduras maroon Corvettes, but a lot of them have black interior. And this is more sought after for the fawn beige.
So, okay, tell us about the car. I believe this is like, everything's original, air in the tires is original, everything, right?
The tires aren't original,
But the
those,
air is in the tires.
well, those tires, believe it or not, have been on there since 1972.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yes, the car is absolutely 100% original,
Yeah.
except the clutch. I put a new clutch in it.
Now, how do you keep a car, I mean, it's probably low mileage if you're going to keep it this good, because I'm looking at the paint. I mean, I see this bright light here, I'm seeing the reflection, and it's better than my car. And my car is not this age, so how do you keep a car that?
I keep it detailed, and I try to keep a protective coating. There's so many polymer type cleaning agents they have out today that you can maintain that without wax. I never wax a car.
Okay.
I don't believe in wax. I never waxed a car. This car never had wax put on it since I have it. But I just try to maintain it. I keep it in a heated and air conditioned garage, which helps it.
Okay.
So I do take care of it that way.
So, so tell us, the engine is a
It's a 340 horse.
340 horse.
327, 340. It's a solid cam motor. It's a pretty well sought after motor. That's
Yeah.
another thing. It's a high performance motor for a small block.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but you probably baby this. You don't take it down to Maple Grove and
No, I don't. No. I drive it though. I put about 2,000, 2,200 miles on it since I have it.
Okay. So,
So I do take it out.
yeah. Take it to shows.
Mostly cruises. I had it at a show yesterday, but I tell them don't judge it. I don't want to judge. I'm not a show person.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this right now. If you bring it to Dorrier Day, we will not judge it.
I get down there.
Okay. So, yeah, it's a really neat car, and
I have some, I was telling Darlene, I have two Bloomington Gold judges are trying to get their hands on it. They want to get a survivor certificate for it, and they also want to try to get a benchmark award for it. And I haven't done anything about it, but my one son is after me all the time about it to do that. He thinks it deserves it.
now benchmark award. What does that entail?
The benchmark is a car that is about 99% original. It original paint, original body, interior. You can only have like a 1% change on the car
And that's
to
your
get
clutch.
benchmark status. Yes.
So your clutch
Your
is
clutch.
1%.
Yep. The clutch.
Yeah. But that wouldn't matter. That's mechanical.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now the motor, brakes, things like that has nothing to do with the benchmark. If you're changing brakes or a clutch.
Okay.
But getting rid of the original matching number transmission, rear end, motor, yeah, you'll never have a shot at it then.
Okay.
That part of the mechanics has got to stay original.
Okay. Because I've read a lot about the Corvette group over the years and their judging standards. And you mentioned Bloomington Gold earlier, and you know, their standards are way up there.
Oh, yes.
And I see over the years, you see other car clubs kind of rising up to meet those standards. So
there's other manufacturers out there that they're getting high status symbol of judging on their cars, and you're right, they did copy with Bloomington Gold certificate type awards.
And I've had people tell me, I think they use the word fanatic almost for that, and you know, I look at it and I'm thinking, you know, it's a lot of work to preserve something or restore it if you're going that way, but to restore it back to as close to factory as you can. And I can understand how people would want that. And, you know, I appreciate it as a fan going to see a car that, you know, has the original little markings, you know, on the engine and stuff. And that's...
Well, this car, when I found out it was for sale, I made a phone call right away. And he had 3 gentlemen that he told me I don't have a chance at the car. He has 3 gentlemen already begged him for the car, and the one wanted to do a body off restoration, an NCRS body off restoration.
Okay, yep.
And when he told me that, I almost begged him not to sell it to that guy. I said, please don't ever sell it to him. It's not worthy to do it. You don't do that to this car. There's certain cars you don't restore.
Right.
And this car, as long as I own it, it'll never get restored. It's not worthy of that.
And that's interesting. Again, the Corvette group and other groups out there, you know, you take a car like this, which is a wonderful car, and they're going to do a body off restoration, you know, and I'm thinking, you know,
Why?
and I think why. And I know, you know, that it's just little details here and there, but for that award, you know. But I am glad personally that you haven't done anything. It's all original.
Yeah.
Now, we had a car on the show a month and a half ago, whatever, that was an original 67 Camaro that is not as shiny as this, and but it's all original, and it's a neat story. And I think you said even when you first got this, it wasn't as shiny and clean.
No, it was dirty.
Yeah, it was dirty.
It was really dirty. 3 tires were almost flat, and the 1 tire was flat. And it was at the Burkhart Performance Center. It was at their garage, and they were going to go over the mechanics. The distributor was apart, the carburetor was apart, didn't run, had no brakes, and he had it there because he was going to have them do the mechanical work to get it back on roadworthy condition so he could sell it. He already had potential buyers, but he wanted to make it roadworthy, and they were working a price up for him to do that. And when I got him on the phone, and he never had a price set for the car, and I told him, I said, tell you what you're doing, Greg, you're going to sell the car to me. I said, because I don't want them to touch it. I'll buy it the way it sits there. No mechanical work done, nothing. I said, I'll do it. And that's how I got it.
Okay.
And I made him a good offer.
So you did the work as far as getting it back operational?
Mechanics, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see, what else can we ask? You know, I look at the interior, the interior is perfect.
Well, the
Almost
dash pad's shrinking and so on. It's
Okay.
separating a little bit on the sides and so on. In fact, he wanted to put a new dash pad in the car before he would sell it, and seat covers and a new convertible top.
And you
I
said, no, stop.
no way.
How about an inflatable convertible top?
Ooh, yeah.
So,
It has the soft top with it also.
Right.
It does. It's not in good shape, but it's there.
And I see you're a member of Skyline Drive.
Yeah.
Corvettes.
Oh, yeah.
So I assume you take it to like club.
Oh, yeah.
stuff, maybe?
Yeah. In fact, we have our big show on Saturday up at the Ole Fairgrounds.
this like
Our
5 days from
our
now.
show, yeah, and we have street rods and everything invited. Anything can come to our show.
Okay.
We put on a nice show, so if you're interested, you can come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Come up just to
It'll be
see
there
us. Yeah.
because there's a guy coming down from the museum in Hershey, and he called the club and asked if he could come down and he could judge the most original car that will be there at the show. And this is definitely going there. He's an
Yeah, what kind of judge? I mean, do they have it up? Will they put it up in the air so they can go underneath it and stuff?
no, but they will look under it and so on.
Yeah.
But it's mostly originality of the car,
Yep.
and I'm sure he knows what he's going to look for. You know, he's supposed to be a Corvette expert, so we'll find out on Saturday. See what happens.
Now, before the show, we were looking. You have a nice sign, kind of explaining the whole timeline of this car and who owned it when and stuff. And I know we were talking in the beginning that Stout bought it from another dealer.
Yeah,
so
in
we're actually
Jersey.
kind of counting Stout as an owner, I guess. When we
Well, he's
look
a
at
dealer,
it. Yeah.
so there's only 3 private owners ever, and the car never left Berks County. When it came in from New Jersey in '62, the car only had 1,200 miles on it from Chestnut Motors in New Jersey, and I can't get any history back off the car from that point. The company's defunct, and I even called the Chamber of Commerce, and I just can't track down any information on it because I would love to know what happened because it came through a brokerage firm. That's how Stouty bought it. And but at the time Stouty got his hands on it, it never left Berks County. It's only 3 owners in Berks County.
I'm surprised the first owner sold it to a kid, basically.
Yeah, I don't know the story about Denny Delaplane, but there's an interesting story quickly if you have time.
Sure.
Denny was in our club, and he was a school teacher his whole life. And I used to play golf with him. And he kept telling me every time we played golf, Harry, this '62 Corvette, I can't get it back. I'm trying to buy it back. It was my first Corvette. Really? I said, yeah, I like '62s myself. And I never asked him who owned it. And we played golf dozens of times. I never asked him who the owner was of this '62 Corvette until I bought it. And when we were doing the transfer of the title, Greg Buckley, who owned the car for 47 years that I bought it from, he says to me, wait till Denny Delaplane hears about this. And I looked at him, I said, what? I said, you're kidding me. Denny Delaplane owned that car. He said, yeah. I said, oh my gosh. I couldn't wait to call him and let him know that I have it.
And he wanted it back, right?
Oh yeah, he wanted it back badly.
Yeah.
A lot of guys in the county wanted this car, and there were some choice words made about me when they found out I bought it.
Yeah, but the thing is, here's the positive spin on it. You're
Yeah.
preserving it. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that they wouldn't, but they know it's in good hands with you.
Yeah.
How's that for?
I hope so.
Do you have other cars that?
Yeah, I have a '63 split window,
Okay.
and then I have a 2016 Z06.
Okay.
And I've had a lot of Corvettes in my time. In fact, I
Yeah.
have 32 already. I've
My
owned
God.
32 Corvettes in my life.
Wow.
So far.
I'm just crazy.
Wow.
I'm just crazy about them.
Yeah, well, it's a good car to be crazy about.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. It was always my love from the time I was a little kid when they first came out with them. When I was 11 years old, a neighbor of mine bought a brand new '57 Corvette, and he used to use it for work. I'd get home from school, jump off the school bus, and I had about 5 minutes time that I could watch this car go up the road. When I was a little kid, and I thought, one day.
One day I'll have one of those.
So you probably did have a 57 in there somewhere?
I did. My brother owns it now.
Okay.
It was a basket case car. We bought 3 of them at one time from this guy, a '58, '56, and a '57. All 2 were basket case cars, and one was a nice road car. And my brother has one. My brother has 2 of them, and my one cousin owns the other one, the '58. Yeah,
Well, it's a beautiful car, and I
appreciate
like
that.
we said, it's so neat that it is original.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. Well, that's what drew me to the car.
Oh, yeah,
all the
definitely.
time that he had it. I didn't really know what it looked like anymore because Greg got lost interest in using the car about like the last 20, 25 years that he had it. He only, and it would sit for 5, 6, 8 years at a time in his garage, and then he'd decide, well, I'm going to get the Corvette out again, and the brakes didn't work and everything like that. He'd have to rebuild the brake system, everything else, take it out on the road, then he'd park it again. It sat there again.
Geez.
So visually, in the last 20, 25 years, I hardly ever saw the car
Yeah.
until it was sitting at the garage and I walked over and looked at it and went after it.
Well, at least he took good enough care of it that it stayed.
Yeah, what saved the car, I think, he had it in a block garage with a dirt floor and no windows. So
No
the
sun.
sun never got the opportunity to shine through the windows and bake the interior and bake the paint. Because otherwise, this would be what they call pancake
Faded.
cracked everywhere if that would have had the chance to happen. That's the only reason the paint is solidified on top of that fiberglass yet, or otherwise Corvette owners know what happens to them when sun bakes them. So that's the only thing saved this car.
Yeah, no, it looks good. All right, what did we forget to ask you?
Let's see, we covered having it at Duryea Day. And,
After Duryea Day.
We always got to get the plug in.
Where do we put it when we bring it down to Duryea Day?
But it's really neat. And
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming down. And you drove down here, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a great driver, right?
Oh, yeah. It's a great driver.
Good.
They don't ride nice, though.
Using
They
it.
ride like a buckboard. But
yeah, but the coolness factor overrides.
Yeah, forget that. That doesn't matter anymore. No, it's a really neat car. And thank you so much for agreeing
Thank you very much.
to
I
visit us.
appreciate you having me. It's
And,
been fun.
And we'll probably see you at a diner day or something. Cause
I always come down to diner
Yeah,
days.
I hear he frequents diner day a lot.
Oh, okay.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, well, we are back here in the diner. We're going to have dinner soon, but before...
I can smell it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's making me hungry, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The
Starved.
onions, the cheese.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, anyway, sorry, food. It's always about food with us. So actually, before we get to our last segment, I just want you all at home to see these really cool t-shirts that we had done for our food truck fair, which was in June. We hope you all came. But we had these shirts. We have a few left for sale. So if you need to hurry up and get in here and buy one. We've got the Mr. Softy truck on the front. And of course, you know that Dan and I love the Mr. Softy truck. And we've talked about it several times on this show and things surrounding it. But on the back, we've got blueprints.
Okay, stop right there. I've had enough. That's not a blueprint.
Fine.
It's a drawing.
A gray print. Well,
It's a
yeah.
drawing.
No,
Blueprint
you
for
are.
blue.
You are. Yes.
Yeah, that's
you
all
are
right.
correct.
You've said it before,
Schematic?
and I've just had it. No.
Up to here.
Yeah. No, okay. It's a drawing.
And these are from. Now, of course, the Mr. Softy truck was built here at the Boyertown Auto Body Works. So these are drawings that we found stored here in our offices, which used to be the drafting and design area. So we had this really neat t-shirt made. We only have about 10 left. So we sold them at the food truck fair, and now the rest are in the gift shop. So please, we'd love to make sure you get one, but you got to hurry up.
I got one.
You got one? I got one. We didn't think to wear and coordinate today,
No,
but just so y'all know, they are here, and they're really neat. We got a lot of great compliments on them. You wore yours
At the truck show,
up at McKenzie,
yes.
and
And I had compliments up there, too.
yeah, that was a good place to wear it.
Even started discussion about the Mr. Softy truck on the front.
Ah. We can go for a long time talking about Mr. Softy. So, well, I wanted to talk tonight. Actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit and show a really cool video. It's going to eat up most of my time, but it's neat. You'll enjoy it. But Dan, would it
What?
surprise you to know that I'm in a group that likes old game shows?
No.
No, it doesn't. Specifically, it's a What's My Line and I've Got a Secret. which of course those shows were on forever, it seems. They were on quite a few years in the 50s and 60s. And it so happened that someone in the group posted a video that I think you'll all enjoy.
I'm Arlene Francis, and I've got a secret.
I've Got a Secret, brought to you tonight by Spick and Span, the big job cleaner made to be mixed in water, its power released in water. Spick and Span. Live from New York, here is I've Got a Secret, starring Steve Allen.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to I've Got a Secret. Now that we've met the lovely Arlene Francis, let's see what our lovely lineup is over there on the panel side. First, there's Betsy Palmer, who will open June 13th at the Carter Barron Theater in Washington, D.C. as Peter Pan. Next, we have Peter Pan himself. Appearing tonight is Bill Cullen, of course. And next, we have Tinker Bell, who's appearing this evening as Bess Meyerson. And naturally, Captain Hook, Henry Morgan. I heard a strange noise backstage, and then I heard it stop. We'll find out what that means as we meet our first contestant. How do you do, sir? Good evening. Nice to have you with us. Just make yourself comfortable there and tell us your name and where you're from.
My name's William Pollock. I'm from Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
And now, Mr. Pollock, as I was saying, I heard a strange sound back over there, which I understand is a rather unusual vehicle. Made by a vehicle, I should say. So if you'll whisper to me, we'll show the audience just what you're driving these days. Mm-hmm. And there's even a little bit more to it than that, I understand. Wow. Well, of course, the clue to Mr. Pollock's secret concerns the vehicle backstage, and we'll begin the game with Henry Morgan.
Mr. Pollock, do I want to know... Well, yes, I want to know what kind of vehicle it is. I was going to ask you, did you make it? Did you make it?
No, I did not. It was a manufactured vehicle.
Could I buy one?
I doubt it.
It's unique.
It is.
Okay. Does it fly?
No, it doesn't.
Does it work in the water?
No, it doesn't.
Strictly a land vehicle.
Land vehicle.
Is it powered by an internal combustion engine?
Yes.
Well, is it an automobile?
Yes, it is.
Well, I win, right?
That's all. Good night, folks. $20 down. Betsy?
Well, I got to the studio a little early today, so I saw the automobile. And that doesn't mean I can disqualify myself, though, is it? Because we found it. Am I
It
trying to
just
find out
means
what...
don't show up early
what
around
is
here
it?
anymore.
That's right. Shall I find out the name of it? I know things
The
like...
name of it is Melvin.
No, I mean, is it a Pierce Arrow or
Oh, I
a
see.
Cord or something
No, you don't have to
like
find
that?
out.
No? Did you drive it all the way from Pennsylvania, Mr. Pollock?
Not all the way, no.
You drove and pushed. Is that part of the secret?
Well, I would say possibly it is.
That is?
It's related to this.
Related to the secret. Is it on what kind of fuel it runs with? Has anything to do with it?
No.
Funniest sounds are coming
love
from
the noise.
backstage. If you can possibly pick up those sounds and broadcast them while we're talking, go ahead and do so. I think the mechanics watching will get a kick out of it. Hey, there she goes! Okay, Bill.
Are we interested in the age of the vehicle, Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
It is extremely old.
It is.
Was it made before 1900?
It was.
Before 1890?
No.
No.
After 1890?
Yes.
After 1895?
No.
No.
1891?
That's it. Yes,
1891.
1891.
You want to know more?
Yes, there's a little bit more. The other half of the secret.
In what month? It's been in his family ever since.
No.
No.
He bought it from the original little old lady who owned
No, $60 down. Bess?
Does it have anything to do with how long you own it?
No.
Does it have anything to do with how long it took you to drive here from Pottstown?
No, not exactly.
Does it have to do with how slow or fast it goes?
No, it has to do with the car itself.
Oh. Does it have a television set?
Whoops.
Has it been modernized? Is that the thing?
No.
No.
Does it have all its original parts?
That's it, yes. There you go. It sounds like it's about to take its last gasp, and before it does, let's open the curtain and all get a look at it. Come on over here, Mr. Pollock. Now, this is the oldest car panel, literally the oldest car still running in the United States today. And as you've already figured out, it already has all its own original parts, including the original engine and the original tires, and the original driver who passed away several years ago is inside there. Yes, Betsy.
Is it candlelight or is it gaslight that's in the little burner?
That's a candle, isn't it, sir?
Yes, candlelight.
Oh, my.
They have a glass. You want to shut it off so we can hear each other? Be funny if now it wouldn't
Now
stop.
that it started, it
Oh,
won't
it did.
stop. Isn't that beautiful?
Listen to that sound.
I love the tires.
That's pretty wild. Naturally, there's a glass over the candle thing here so that the wind won't blow it out as soon as you start. This, of course, must be the steering mechanism. A fascinating thing about this, now this goes back, I don't know if you can see in this shot because it's dark background here. I'll hold these cards behind it so you can see what the handles look like. There's this bar between them. And I understand that on the cars of the future, they may be going back to this kind of a steering thing instead of the steering wheel. Isn't that interesting? What is this, sir?
That's the gear shift.
Mm-hmm. This is fascinating. What did this cost when it was new, do you know?
I really don't know.
Who made it?
It was made in France,
I see.
1891.
And how'd you find out about it?
A collector in France had told me about it, and I was able to purchase it from him.
Where was it all these years? Must have been in some little old lady's garage, wasn't it?
It indicates that it's been stored in Fontainebleau in France.
What kind of brakes does it have here?
Well, it just has a mechanical brake, foot brake.
You might be able to get a shot, Paul, of the back wheel here showing the drive. It's kind of like a bicycle or bicycle, let's say, drive. The old-fashioned chains back there.
What are the tires?
The tires, what are they like?
They're solid rubber tires, and they're original tires.
Sir, if you'll step around to the other side of the car, we have a camera backstage here. We're going to try to get a shot. I don't know if it'll look like much, but we'll take the picture anyway of the engine. And as soon as Mr. Pollock steps to one side, we'll be able to go to that camera. There it is. Now, what can you tell us, sir, about how that works? Could you stand over there so they see the engine?
It's a hot tube ignition engine prior to the spark plugs, and it runs on heated tubes.
Paul, could you lower your cameras right down to the lowest point? I think maybe, no, I don't mean that. I mean lower your camera rather than your picture. Lower the camera, and then you'll be able to see in and up and into the motor, I think, a little better than you can now, being up so high. What are those two flames? They look like a blowtorch.
Hot tube burners. The hot tube burners that create the ignition.
You don't have spark plugs?
No spark plugs.
How fast does it go?
Approximately 15 mile an hour flat out.
Flat out. And what are these fenders made of?
Fenders are wood. Wooden fenders.
That isn't a bad idea. It'd be a lot less expensive to, fix them again. Did you have a question, Bess? No. No, just a nice smile on your face. Well, that's all right. Anybody else have any questions about this old crate? Bill?
How much did it cost?
What did it cost? I asked that earlier when you were out.
Find out?
And he didn't know. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Pollock.
How much fuel does it
What is it? How much fuel does it carry?
It carries 5 gallons of gas.
5 gallons.
How far does it go in a gallon?
Oh, possibly 15 miles per gallon.
Not bad. Things haven't changed that much. Well, Mr. Pollock, it's a very unusual story, and thank you for coming to tell us about it tonight. Thank you.
So that's Bill Pollock on I've Got a Secret. I was kind of shocked when I saw that.
Oh, who's Bill Pollock now?
Yeah, well, who's Bill Pollock? Well, Bill Pollock had Pollock's Auto Showcase, which was in Pottstown. And, gosh, how many cars did he have? A lot. I've seen photos of them kind of lined up.
At least one of them.
He had quite a few, including some Chadwicks, which are no longer in the area, unfortunately.
Right.
But he also had a Duryea, which is now here in our museum.
Okay.
And he is the one that gave us the Chadwick navigation drawings.
Right. Okay.
And literature. Because I guess he was friends, or at least acquaintances, with Lee Chadwick, is my understanding.
Yeah, and
it's probably how he got the device and the
Yeah, and you were mentioning about the drawings and such. Now, they're blueprints, actually. Okay? But anyway, the blueprints...
This is a topic for next
of the
month, is
drawings,
blueprint
yeah.
versus drawing.
There was handwritten letter
Yeah.
from Lee Chadwick to Bill Pollock, writing about Chadwick's involvement with the cars, building the cars, racing them and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was pretty interesting. But as you say, I believe they were friends.
I would assume so.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
So
We had quite a number of cars. Now, what I had heard is that he did offer to donate them to the city of Pottstown
okay.
many, many years ago. They didn't take him up on this offer, and they've pretty much all been,
Dispersed.
yeah, they're all over the place. The car on here, you notice they didn't mention what it was.
Right.
I looked it up. It was an 1891 Peugeot. I don't know where it went. I know some of his stuff, I thought, went to Harrah's out in Nevada. I didn't see it on their website listed as something that they have. I don't know where this particular car ended up. If you go, now Pollock's was also an auto restoration business. And the current owners have some of the old photos of the cars that he had on their website. They do have a photo of that Peugeot on there, and the caption on there says, oldest running car in the United States as of 1979. I don't know where they got that number. I don't know if maybe that's when it got sold off and they lost track of it. I'm not sure where that 1979 came from. This show is from 1966.
But how
That's when
many
it aired.
1891 Peugeots are there out in the world?
Can't be that many.
One, maybe.
And like someone said as we were watching this, they really did spend a lot of time looking at this car on the show. I'm actually surprised you never said what it was. For all the time they were looking at it, and usually whenever I watch, the person, their secret is revealed, they talk about it for maybe a minute, and then they shoot the next guest on. They spent a lot of time with him. It's neat.
Yeah.
We got to see the car.
And explaining some of the details on how they work, and like the light.
Yeah, the candles for the lights.
There's glass in front of this. And, it's just, okay.
It was interesting, and it was neat to see him on there. I wasn't expecting him. Someone just posted the video. Hey, today's video is this one, and
Now I have to tell you, I don't know if we're allowed to reveal this. No, I got an email. I got an email from somebody who's familiar with our museum and knows our involvement with Chadwick and Pollock and all that stuff. And she sent this to me, and she sent a link to this show. And so I sent it over to Kendra. Well, she already had this planned sort of to do it, and I don't think I burst your bubble, but you kind of...
I thought I was going to really surprise you, though.
But she got the link from somewhere else, and it was kind of at the same time.
A weird coincidence.
But you belong to that club thing, that game show club.
You're not. I couldn't even shock you with that news.
Well,
it doesn't surprise you at all, does it?
So.
But yeah, it was neat, and the rest of this show is also pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
And if you're on our Motormouth Facebook page, I will put the link to the whole show on, and you can watch the rest.
It's very entertaining. Yeah.
It is.
The next guest is really good.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's a fun show.
It's fun. It's different. They do a different segment.
Almost as good as our show.
Almost.
Yeah.
And they run out of time in the end, so they really did spend a lot of time with Bill Pollock on here, and it was neat to see what he looked like too. I don't think I'd ever seen a photo of him.
I saw a photo, but I don't remember him looking like that though.
I didn't think he looked. I don't know
In fact,
why.
I believe it was him and Lee Chadwick from maybe the early 50s. Maybe that's why it didn't look the same.
It was neat to see him. Neat to see a Pennsylvania newsmaker on one of these old shows. Yeah, and we were talking about the panel too. The panel's just entertaining.
Yeah, like I've seen that guy before somewhere, you know. and
Yeah,
this and that.
I know. I feel like
kinda
I've only
neat.
seen him on here,
Yeah.
but he seems familiar. But I couldn't tell you what else he's done. He's a comedian. Is really all I hear. The one panelist, Henry Morgan. The one lady on there was a Miss America, which comes up later in that episode, actually. So,
Okay.
yeah, you get to hear a little bit more about that. So it was neat. I like all the game shows, but the celebrities, and the celebrities seem so down to earth and
Yeah.
play along with the contestants, and it's just cool
Well,
to
you're a
watch.
game show
I know.
person.
No one's surprised. And you said earlier too, Steve Allen starts out.
Pretty serious.
Yeah, he kind of loosens up there, and they go look at
Yeah.
the car. But
So,
it was neat, neat. And we both, like I said, both came across it coincidentally at the
Yeah.
same time.
it
Which
was
is strange.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
that's what I got. If anyone knows what happened to that 1891 Peugeot, please let us know. I don't know where it went.
Maybe if we find it, we can have, there might be a Pennsylvania connection to it.
Yeah, we can.
We
get
can
it
buy
back
it
on
and
here
bring it in the museum.
and play this in
Yeah.
the museum.
Yeah,
Perfect. Wonder if it still runs.
I don't know.
But yeah. So I think we had a good show. We had some variety tonight. And I don't know what we got in store next month. We better get dinner and start brainstorming for next month, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dinner.
It smells good in here. We need to eat
Yeah.
something.
Smells really good.
So we thank you all for joining us. We'll see you all next month. And remember to stop in and pick up a Mr. Softy drawing. Blueprint sounds so much better. Can I just go with blueprint?
Call it Blueprint.
Okay. Mr. Softy blueprint shirts. Stop in and pick one up. We only have a few left. And other than that, make sure you put on your calendars. September 2nd is Duryea Day. And we'll see you next month.